Hello and welcome to another ATN tutorial. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to update your BinoX 4K smart day-night binoculars. The first thing you're going to need is a micro SD card. I here have a SanDisk 4 gigabytes. You're going to need one between 4 and 64 gigabytes, and make sure that it's an SDHC card and not a SDXC. Those don't work very well. So make sure it's a good brand, like a SanDisk, Samsung, or Transcend card between 4 and 64 gigabytes. Next, you're going to need, if you're going to be updating through a PC, you may need one of these adapters that you can plug into the USB and see the card on your computer. Or if you have a laptop, you may have one of these SD ports where you can use an adapter like this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to format the SD card inside the binoculars, inside the device. So we just take the card. You're going to see this rubber slot here for charging and the SD card. Flip it around, and with the pins down, we're going to insert it nice gently into the slot and push it in until you hear a click. So once that's in, I'll show you through the view of the binoculars on how to format the SD card. All right, once you have the SD card inside your binoculars, just press the center button on the binocular keypads just for a couple of seconds, and you'll get the carousel menu. From here, you're going to want to click left and go to the wrench icon for system settings. From here, you're going to want to click right until you get to the photo video tab, and go down to where it says format SD card. The reason why we're formatting in the binoculars is because it sets the correct file format on the SD card. That way, whenever you copy on the firmware to your SD card, it'll accept it in the scope. So we're going to click OK. And it's going to ask to format the SD card. Choose yes, and click OK again to confirm. It's going to ask you if you're going to want to delete all your files. Click yes, but make sure if you do have anything on there that you want to save it before you do the format. Click yes to confirm. Okay, format was successful. And next I'm going to show you how to download the firmware and copy it onto the SD card. Okay, once the card is formatted, we're just going to take it out of the slot. And I'm going to be using this little adapter here to plug it into my laptop. So just insert it into the laptop, and I'll take you onto the screen to show you how to download the firmware. Okay, with the SD card inside the computer, next we're going to go ahead and open up a browser. I'm going to open up Chrome, and in the URL, type in atncorp.com and press enter. So to download the firmware, you will need to sign in. So I'm already, I believe, logged in. So if you're not, create an account, sign in, and then you'll be able to download the firmware. So just click here on firmware and select the BinoX 4K. This will always have the latest firmware available for the device. So click on it and click download. It'll just take up a few minutes. All right, so once this downloaded, the easiest thing to do is go over to this file, right click, and hit show in folder, so you don't have to look for the file. Basically, it usually goes down somewhere into your download folder. Next, don't try to open the file, otherwise the update won't work. So all you're going to want to do is only right click it and hit copy. And then here on the left side, you're going to find your SD card. You're going to click on it. You're going to see this ATN folder. This folder is created when you either take pictures or do actually a format of the SD card inside the binoculars, and it creates this ATN folder. This is where your photos and videos will be stored once you start taking photos and videos. But the firmware update, you're going to want to copy it inside the root folder here. Don't copy inside the ATN folder, otherwise you won't be able to update the scope either. So we're going to right click and hit paste. And once the firmware is copied onto the SD card, next thing we're going to want to do is just pop pop it into the binoculars and make sure that the binoculars are in the off position when you do. Once you turn on the binoculars, you will get a prompt message to updating your firmware like this. So you're just going to want to click yes and hit OK. You will see an updating firmware message where it will show you percentage from like 0 to 100. It'll just take a few minutes to update, and then the binoculars will restart. After the Binox restarts after updating the firmware, there's only one last thing you want to do to complete the firmware update. You're going to want to press the center button OK for about 2 seconds. Wait for the carousel menu. And then you're going to go back to the wrench icon, System Settings, and click OK. And then you're going to go to the Settings tab. And from there, you're going to click down until you get to Restore Factory Settings. And you're going to want to do this to make sure that everything on the firmware is finished and your binoculars will be ready after this. So click yes, and it will need to reboot. Once it's reboot, that's it. Your Binox is completely updated to the latest firmware and ready to use. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.